mass shooting in Colorado over the weekend at the LGBTQ nightclub Club Q in Colorado Springs, where 5 people were killed and at least 19 others wounded. For the first time, we're hearing from the heroic Army veteran who helped stop the shooter, explaining how and why he took the gunman down, despite being unarmed himself. Well, now that suspect is in custody, and authorities are expected to formally charge him with 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 hate crimes. ABC's Morgan Norwood is on the ground in Colorado Springs and joins us now with more. So, Morgan, this investigation, where are they going? What do we know at this point?
Yeah, let's begin with the suspect. As we know, Anderson Lee Aldrich still in the hospital with what's being described as pretty significant injuries stemming from that takedown that you mentioned at the top of the show from an Army veteran who, as those bullets were flying, pulled the suspect down by his protective vest and began pummeling him until police arrived. But as far as the work here on the ground, Terry, authorities are still, of course, combing through the scene. You see the crime scene tape behind me. You can see a little bit of the police presence here. They're combing through the suspect's background. And though this scene is pretty self-contained, they are really desperate to talk with anybody, survivors, victims, even folks who were driving by. Look, they really want to piece together this timeline and more than anything, figure out a motive in this attack. We also know that the FBI is investigating as well. Colorado State, there are hate crime charges for Aldrich, but it will be interesting to see if the federal government will lay down any federal hate crime charges. So that's something that we're keeping an eye on as well. Terry?
And Morgan, we are hearing more details from eyewitnesses, really survivors who were at Club Q when the shooting took place. Many of them say that club is like a home to them, and despite the fact that they're traumatized, they hold that place precious. Joshua Thurman, for example, one of the survivors of the shooting, and we heard from him. Take a listen to what he experienced.
As a black kid, it's taboo to be gay, so coming here, this is one of the first places that I've felt accepted to be who I am. It's supposed to be our safe space, and the community shouldn't have to go through something like this just for us to come together. It was so scary. I heard shots, broken glass, bodies.
Gosh, sir. I'm so sorry.
It was, how? Why?
The unseen injuries. Morgan, you've been in that community now reporting since the shooting happened. What are you hearing from survivors, victims, loved ones?
Yeah, Terry, that sound was just so gripping for the victims. It was horrific. I mean, they talked about the carnage, but they also talked about the courage as well. Listen, one man saying that as he was shot in the leg and the thigh, but all he could think about was helping others. He says that he pulled off his coat and began shielding another woman as those bullets were ringing out. So we see stories like that of resilience. But I had a little bit of time this morning to stop by the memorial, and, the grief is so palpable. You can, feel it in the air. But what was really striking to me, I saw, family after family laying down cards and candles and mourning those. But again, what was really striking, I saw 3 young girls. They looked like they were triplets, 3 years old, maybe 3 or 4, presumably with their mother. She was taking them by the hand and walking them down the street to that memorial and explaining to them what was going on. And those are the hard conversations that so many loved ones are having today. Behind every single face of those who were shot and those who were killed, there are family members who are dealing with immeasurable grief and immeasurable heartbreak. But for the LGBTQ community at large, we've heard from them saying that they are defiant. They are going to bounce back from this, and they are not going to be troubled with fear. They're going to stand in the face of this adversity. And so many people who we know hate is on the rise, and they're not going to be moved by that. Terry?
That is what people do together in the face of hate and of this kind of sorrow and pain that they're suffering because of this suspect. Now, this guy was investigated in 2021 for allegedly making a bomb threat against his own mother. We're told charges dropped there. Colorado does have red flag laws. How was he still able to carry the weapons into that club?
Yeah, that's a big question that so many are asking this afternoon, Terry. I want to run down a little bit of the timeline as far as that particular arrest. According to authorities, Aldritt's mother reported back in June of 2021 that her son was threatening her with some homemade bombs and explosives. Police did not find any explosives when they went out to the scene, but of course he was taken into custody and charged with kidnapping and menacing. Now, we are told that those charges were dropped, and therefore he didn't necessarily have a record for that, so it wouldn't have necessarily showed up on a background check for getting that particular rifle in which police say was used in this attack. But the big question now is, you know, from what so many people are saying is, are the red flag laws protecting? Are they strong enough? And so those are the questions that we're getting from people here on the ground, Terry.
Lots of questions still to be answered. Morgan Norwood in Colorado Springs, thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.